to withdraw for free between the same banks, but withdrawals above 20,000 naira on site ATMs or inside bank branches will now attract 100 naira. Withdrawals from other banks, ATMs, off-site or none on transactions, customers will be charged 100 naira plus an additional surcharge of 450 naira per 20,000 withdrawal. Wow. Let's start from Mr. Gaudi Efosa. What do you think about this policy?
All right. Good morning once again, Michael. Good morning, Lagos. It's nice to be here. I hope I'm audible. Am I audible enough?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
All right. No problem. First and foremost, let me clarify that it is within the function of the CBN to amend, make laws, or supervise and regulate the financial institution in Nigeria. So they are well within their right to do so. Having said that, I want to say here that sometimes CBN has not been certified within the digital area on our financial inclusions. Essentially, some of these regulations supposed to bring so many Nigerians into the banking sector. We still have a lot of unbanked Nigerians, particularly in the rural areas, in the hinterland, who still do not believe in the in the banking sector in Nigeria. Despite exponential growth in terms of not just the conventional bank, we have the digital bank, we have the microfinance bank, initially spread across Nigeria. Nigeria are still very down because of unnecessary charges and lack of adequate security bank, be it commercial banks. If you have 10,000 naira in your account today, before you wake up in the morning, it must have probably reduced to 9,050 naira. So the CBN regulation of the Nigerian banks and other financial institutions have not been very helpful. Now, how is this supposed to be a carrot? How is this new policy supposed to be a carrot for those who have not in a way like the services of the bank because of what is happening? Therefore, I feel that the CBN policies and regulations have not been incentivized enough to drag or to bring people into the financial sector.
Okay.
Therefore, we have hence number of the unbanked in Nigeria today. So back to the whatever it is, if the policy of the POS POS still remains the way they are, and the ATM still dry up of cash, it's going to be because if the CBN wanted to make this POS policy, supposed to have also reviewed the POS, where you have enough money with the POS than the ATM point.
That's what we're saying.
ATM points are simply ATM points across Nigeria, especially Lagos where I live, have simply become horrible. People no longer go there. Even if when you get there, you can only get 2,000 naira from the ATM. So people prefer somebody want to 400,000 naira, and POS agents can source it for you. So whatever policy they are making, they are supposed to have attract people to the services. It's rather, taking people away from the services.
All right, now
because I believe that the current CBN is more interested in making money than providing convenience.
Thank you very much for that. Now let me go to Barrister there. Barrister Deji, are you there?
Oh yes.
I mean, you had it from Sigodi there. How this CBN, this current CBN, are simply more interested in making profit. But with this, we thought that the CBN will come up with policies that will make Nigerians rush to the ATM. Because Nigerians now, no longer go to the ATM point. Nigerians no longer see the ATM as being valid. They're not providing solutions to their financial needs. Everybody now goes to the POS beside their house, the POS beside the street, the POS around and all, despite the charges. So, is this policy that the CBN is bringing now, is it the right thing that we need right now?
Thank you very much for that question. I think we need to first of all discuss what exactly is the priority or the objective of the CBN in coming out with some of these policies, and how far are these policies able to assist the government to achieve the objectives. I think there's a big stop. Well, my good friend.
Hello, Barrister, are you there? Hello, Barrister, are you there? All right, Mr. Godi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I don't know. I think we lost the network with Barrister.
It looks like Barrister is on transit.
Yes, he's on transit. He really on transit. But it was, he was trying to make a point there about what really is the CBN all about. At this time where we feel like CBN is supposed to relieve Nigerians of this burden of POS. It's becoming a new thing in town now. I don't know. Barrister, are you there? Okay, while we'll wait for that connection, what do you think also, to that aspect, to that effect? Do you also see it that way, that the CBN are supposed to probably counter the POS monopoly? It seems to be like, well, the POS is what is in town now. And instead of CBN coming up with policies that will make Nigerians, go to the ATM point and all, there seems to be, adding more tax on the POS, taking more charges and doing all of those things, rather than concentrating on other businesses, making the ATM point work, telling the banks to put more funds, more money in the ATMs, mandating the banks to do more. What's your take?
Yes, Michael, and I think that is essentially what CBN should have done, perhaps considering to do. First off, just making additional 100 naira, asking people when you use ATM of other banks that initially was given by the same CBN to attract people to using ATM. It just 100 naira. It's not going to force an average bank to begin to feed their ATM with cash. Rather, they will still look at the way of POS that they are making huge money from. POS is a cash cow now, as it were.
I told you, yeah.
Therefore, the banks appreciate the services of the POS who actually make more money for them. And don't forget, there is a policy in place that you can't withdraw more than a certain amount of money in a certain amount of cash from the POS. So, not from the POS, from the ATM. And if you go to Allen, for instance, there is no bank currently that can dispense 20,000 naira at a go for you at any ATM. Because that's where I'm operating from. If you go to Allen, is a business hub in Ikeja.
So no
if you go there,
banks are operating the
no
ATM.
bank, no ATM bank that can dispense 20,000 naira at a go for you. There is none. Wow. Absolutely none. Quote me. I've tried it. I've done it. He has not. In fact, some banks give you 2,000 at least. At most that you get is 5,000 naira at once at a single dispense. So I feel that the CBN is leaving the most essential and important aspect of risk regulation and tackling the very secondary, or shall I say tertiary aspects of the problem. If the CBN make a law that every ATM must have cash in it, and people must appreciate that service, then they must also increase a transaction fee from every POS to discourage people from going there. Not increasing the transaction fee, because from what is happening right now, the POS merchants, agents will increase their own transaction fee, because the CBN has already removed the free, the three times monthly free free services of ATM card holders using other banks. That's, for instance, for not running the risk of advertising anybody here. For our listeners to understand what we are talking about, what it means is that if you have the ATM card of Bank A, you used to enjoy 3 times withdrawal monthly before you are being charged in ATM in a bank B. But when you have a Bank A ATM and you use a Bank A ATM, when you have a Bank A card, you use a Bank A ATM, you are not going to be charged. It's free. It's still free as it were for you, because that's the benefit of banking with your bank. But if you have a Bank A card, and the memo says. So I feel that it is the TBN, like I said earlier, is rather interested in all the tax, because this TBN, since this regime, since this TBN came in, there are a lot of taxes. Like I said, I wrote yesterday on my social media. I said, look, I can't every transaction that is carried out in my account, I can't keep a track. You will not know how much is being deducted from your account until your bank send you
statement of results, statement of accounts. Yeah.
When they send you monthly account statement, you understand that there is 100 naira 88 kobo, 240 kobo, 250 kobo, and at every transaction, charges, this charges month, charge account, if you run ATM, you are being charged account maintenance, ATM maintenance, all of this. Where are the incentives that are supposed to bring people to the banking sector, that are supposed to create financial inclusion that CBN want to achieve, that are supposed to reduce the huge number of young banks, that are supposed to create confidence in the banking sector that if you must pay some charges, those charges should be explainable. There was a time in this country where Shola Salako, a consumer advocate, started a no banking day because of several charges like this. What happened? So at the end of the day, instead of the CBN to take policies to attract people, make people have confidence, develop confidence in the banking sector, CBN is making policies that cut banks, financial institutions, extort people.
All right. I think the barrister is back. Barrister, are you there?
Oh, yes, I'm still here.
All right, please, you are trying to make a point before we lost that on the network. Please, can
Yes,
you give us a
yes.
point?
What I was trying to say is that we are not able to understand what is the policy objective of most of these CBN regulations that have been issued out. It looks more to me like extortion, trying to deduct money from people's accounts, trying to impose levies, withdrawal fees, and all of that, stamp duty, collections, and all of that. And it is as if the government is more interested in extorting the accounts of the people rather than providing any beneficial service to Nigerians. And I think this is unfortunate. Most of these policies that you have in place now, they are not beneficial to Nigerians. They restrict access of people to their money. Nigerians cannot have access to their money. You pay so much to collect your own money. And it's really unfortunate. And the CBN needs to sit down and strategize properly what exactly are the objectives they want to achieve. If they are talking about unbanked funds, most of these unbanked money are in the hands of Nigerian leaders and politicians. They are the people who prefer to keep cash at home at the expense of the nation. Many Nigerians are managing to survive based on whatever they can get from their means of subsistence, and imposing restrictions on how much you can collect from your fund and imposing levies, to me, is extortionist. And the moment the CBN stop this policy, the better for all of us. Now, if we are living in a time of very high inflation, one would have expected that the CBN will have a policy of inflation of the economy and increased creation of credit line to Nigeria to inflate the economy, and also a reduction of the interest rate so that Nigerians can have access to funds for investment, for trade, to their business, to generate money. But unfortunately, some of these policies are not in place. The CBN is not looking towards that direction. So I don't see how the taxing the people can make them prosperous. I don't see how government imposing levies on Nigerians, how that will assist them to be able to make money for themselves. They mismanage, our banking sector is mismanaged. Most of the banks are no longer doing any financial intermediation. So it's really unfortunate what we are having right now. And I think it's the failure of the bank also, that we have so many POS all over Nigeria. All the ATM systems are not working. So Nigerians are fed up. Nigerians are fed up of all these policies that are not taking us anywhere.
All right, thank you very much for that. Quickly, let's open the phone lines so Nigerians, yes, can be part of this conversations. We're talking about all of us right here in this country, because allowing the Central Bank of Nigeria to just make this much inflow of POS, it's really, really worrisome. It seems to be like the CBN has accepted POS. It seems to be like the POS, I don't know, we'll call them agents or whatever it is, has made so much inflow into the Central Bank of Nigeria, and they just have to just lock it there. Is it another income? This is the questions that we're asking. Yes, the phone lines are open. 0705 890 4927. 0705 890 4927. Or we'll also call us on 0805 0805 092 0927. 0805 092 0927. Yes, we're talking about the CBN plot on breaking POS monopoly, but it seems to be like this isn't breaking anytime soon. All right, let's go to the Mr. Gordy Force. It seems to be like banks and POS are locked in stiffer competition as it is right now. What's your take on this? Do you feel like maybe there is a form of complementary things being done to CBN by the POS agent or the POS people?
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
I said, as it is right now, I mean, banks and POS are locked in stiffer competition. What's your take on this? It seems to be like the POS are taking more advantage. Nigerians are beginning to accept the POS more, and the banks are, just trying to find a way out. And also the establishment of banks started pulling back on investment and regular maintenance of ATMs since the end SARS saga. Since the end SARS, a lot of things concerning the banks, have been reduced. Is this the right time to bring it back?
Michael, if I hear you, because there's some part of your questions were didn't come through as audible as possible. But I think I got some parts of it. The banks and the ATM are not in competition. They are in the marriage of convenience. The banks are very confident with what the POS, because the POS has become a secondary point of accessing cash. In fact, it's not just ATM. If you have an account with any bank, walk in and ask for 50,000 naira cash, you will not be given. They will tell you that there's no cash. I mean, this is not the ATM problem now. This is your walk into the banking hall and demand for your cash that you deposit in that bank and said you need 50,000 naira from your account. You know you will not get it. So what I'm saying is that the CBN has a whole lot of work to do. Basically, knowing full well that we have bankers that are very smart. Whatever policy that the banks bring, the CBN brings, the banks have some smart guys who can always circumvent it. Therefore, this kind of policies that have been well decided, we do not need it. What we need is to ensure that you can even access your fund, your money from the banking hall. It is becoming so difficult to do that in the modern days. I mean, I remember the time of Emefiele before the cashless policy, because this cash scarcity started during the cashless policy, the change of the naira and the rest of it. I remember that when you have the check off the counter, you can't have more than 150,000 naira off the counter cash if you must withdraw it. So you can make as much, in terms of doing transfer or making digital payment. You can do as much as you want to do. Where are those things anymore? We are not even talking about 150,000 naira now of the counter transaction. We are talking about just 50,000, 20,000 naira are so difficult for some banks to make it available from your own account, from your own money. So CBN should look into these areas and ensure that there is cash in the ATM, that there is enough cash in the ATM that can go around, that people are usually used to see. Today, queue have disappeared at the ATM. It used to be like a filling station in the past. You see people queuing to take money from the ATM. Yeah. All the investment made by this bank in the automated teller machine have become non-profitable. Where do we put those investments? Because those machines are not making money to cover up the investment from those machines. All right. At some banks has gallery, ATM gallery, that when you move in there, you see about 10 ATMs as they go. What happened? They have become a place where people take shelter when it's raining. Nobody's using it anymore. So in the end, I think CBN, Central Bank of Nigeria, instead of embarking on some of these phony policies and regulations, they should look at the issue and treat the issue appropriately, Michael.
All right, thank you very much for that. Quickly before we go to other stories, Barrister, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Quickly,
I'm
before
to my good friend.
All right, quickly before we leave. I mean, can these policies or policy be challenged in court?
Most of the policies can be challenged. Unfortunately, we've not been having advocacy in the financial sector. Most of us who are lawyers have not taken advocacy to the financial sector. Otherwise, the CBN will not be sitting comfortably at this time. If you look at it, the CBN is supposed to be a bank to a banker to the banks, and all the funds are actually supposed to be controlled by the CBN. And of course, if you go to any bank now, they will tell you that CBN are not giving them enough funds. So if you look at it, really, it's a mismanagement of the CBN that we are all feeling now.
All right,
the CBN
mismanagement.
has been mismanaged over the years. So the CBN does not even have enough cash for the bank transactions to supply enough money.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go to the phone lines. Hello, good morning.
Yes.
You were trying to say something, but quickly, let me come up with the phone lines again so that we can hear from Nigerians. 0705-890-4927. 0705-890-4927 or 0805-092-0927. Please, in 1 minute, can you just round up your thoughts so we can go to other conversations?
Yes, what I was trying to say is that the CBN has been mismanaged, and that mismanagement of the CBN is now cascading into the operations of the banking sector. The banks cannot function, they cannot operate, because the CBN does not have the cash for them to do daily transactions. And that's why we are having all these challenges. So to further impose taxes or extortion or fees or levies on Nigerian people, I think is uncalled for.
All right, thank you very, very much. Now let's go to other conversations right here on Spotlight on Super 92.7 FM, and let's talk about the missing firearms, where the Senate Public Account Committee screens the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, over concern regarding 178,459 missing firearms and allegations of 1.1 billion naira contract splitting within the Nigerian police force. I mean, this is a very huge one. Well, Egbetokun apologized for failing to honor previous invitations, explaining that the demands of his office prevented his attendance. Well, let me begin with Mr. Gordy. I mean, when you saw this, what came to your mind? Mr. Gordy,
what did you say?
I mean, let me start with you. I mean, when you saw this news, what came into your mind? Your reactions to this?
When I saw what?
We're talking about now. We've got to the conversations now. We're talking about the firearms, missing firearms. We're about 1,000.
Firearm.
Yes.
All right.
178,459 missing firearms and allegations of 1.1 billion naira contract splitting within the Nigerian police force. What's your take?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello? Yes, I can hear you. We're breaking. Please, can you come again?
Okay, I was talking about the Senate Public Account Committee, at the IG, Kayode Egbetokun, over concerns regarding the missing 178,459 firearms and also allegations of 1.1 billion naira contracts splitting within the Nigerian police force. When you saw this, what's your reaction?
First and foremost, I think the Senate Committee on Public Affairs, is that not what it's called?
Yeah, Senate's Public Accounts Committee. Senate's Public Accounts Committee.
Yes, Public Accounts Committee. Said, based on the Auditor General reports, that about 3,920 firearms is missing. I feel, yes, some of these things need to be accounted for. And we have to be very, very transparent in the matter of security. And that's why we continue to battle with insecurity in this country, because most times people at the ends are not very transparent, are not telling the truth. I keep sweeping a lot of things under the carpet. That means if that amount of firearms is missing from the police weaponry, then what happened to what happens to the officers that were assigned with these firearms? What happened to them? Does it mean that they were killed in the process, or does it mean that some people came in and cater away the firearms? What happened? And I think it is very important for the IG to come clean with this and explain. Nobody's saying that the police hierarchy have sold the arms. They should be able to let Nigerians know what happened to those firearms, because if those firearms are missing, then they are in the wrong hands.
All right, then.
What can we do? And that's why we keep saying, and police will say, "Oh, those guys have a superior firepower than us." How can that be? So I think it's in a good place for the Senate Committee on Public Accounts to ensure that the police hierarchy actually come clean, explain what happened, so that if there are areas that we can actually forestall from happening, then we can work together and see that, okay, what can we do to help police? Because that is a huge amount of firearms in outside the confine of the police service.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go to the phone lines.
Unaccounted for, you can imagine the amount of insecurity that can create in a community, in society.
Let me hold it there, Mr. Gordon. Let's go to the phone lines. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, we lost that call there. 0705 890 4927. 0705 890 4927 or 0805 0805 092 0927. 0805 092 0927. All right, Barrister Deji, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. All right. I mean, what came to your mind when you heard about the missing firearms? I mean, first.
Well, let me say that I'm not surprised at the news, because if you remember last year, the National Security Advisor actually mentioned something similar when he said that most of the weapons that were being used by insurgents and kidnappers are actually from the government. You know, he made that statement as if impassive and nothing happened. And that's where the problem is. You see, when such very high sensitive information like that are taken with levity, you know, or they are given with levity, and nothing happens at the end of the day. As at the time he made that statement last year, one expected that the government should have risen up, the security system should have risen up to investigate and to come up with solution to that problem. That most of the weapons that the insurgents are using are actually from the government, and that's a very sad thing. That's an indictment of the security network, both the intelligence and the security system itself. So for the National Security Advisor to make that kind of statement, and I think that is playing out now in the report of the Senate, this public committee that is now investigating this.
Yeah.
Okay. That huge amount of weaponry is in the hands of insurgents. It's a threat to national security, it's a threat to the peace of the nation.
All right,
and so hell should roll. By now we have said that hell should roll. People should be made accountable.
All right, thank you very much for that. Maybe let's listen to the Senate committee. Let's listen to Senator Onyekachi Nwebunyi. I mean, those who were present at the sittings there. Okay.
And this is a very big revelation for Nigerians to see what is happening. If 3,900 firearms, mainly AK-47 and other rifles, are in the hands of enemies, that tells you that we are not safe. Even the police is not safe.
It remains in sky and
You heard it there. He said even the police is not safe. Firearms in the hands of the enemy. All right, let's also listen to Samuel Gordon. That's the Rep Auditor General of the Federation. Yes, the Representative Auditor General of the Federation.
15 training institutions. Total number of missing ammunition, 601. Not reported was the remarks. 2, 23 formations. 42 missing items, not reported. Number 3, 37 police commands, 1,514, not reported. 4, zone 1 to 12, 29, not reported. 5, PMF 1 to 68, 1,721 missing items, not reported was the remark. And the source was extract from schedules of returns of arms and loss of arms as at January 2020.
All right, I don't know if Barrister and Mr. Gode, I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah.
Hello?
Barrister, did you get that?
Yes, very much.
All right, Mr. Gode, I don't know if you also heard that. I mean, that's so much there. Let's also take notes. I mean, a lot of these things sometimes it calls for questioning. I mean, how all of these things turn around. All of these things are happening right there. Because Nigerians tend to ask questions. Missing firearms from where? 601 not reported. 23 formation not reported. 42 missing item also not reported. He also said that 37 police command also from there. And also zone 1 to 12 not reported. Also 1,121 also. No, I mean, all of this not reported. That's coming from the representative of Auditor General of the Federation. Barrister, did you hear that?
Yes. I was just making a statement that one would have expected that the IG by now should have resigned. But unfortunately, Nigeria is a country where nobody ever resigns, even in the patent phase of this kind of evidence of incompetence and all of that. So it's unfortunate that this has happened, and I think proper investigation should be done on how this happened and what can be done to prevent another reoccurrence of this kind of situation.
Okay, now let's also hear from Adams Oshomole. He was also at the committee. He was also a member of the committee. Let's hear from Adams Oshomole on this.
what you are just saying is not correct. I'm telling you, whether by common sense or by law. You attach people to the governor. You didn't attach them to Benin City. Which is the correct question? Were they attached to the governor or they attached to the office? To the building? Is the governor assumed to be mobile or stationed? Under the rules of engagement, the police attached to the governor. When the governor is traveling, are they to take permission before they travel? Those attached to me regularly tells me that they go to regularize not only the booking of their arms, but also from time to time that they are where they are supposed to be.
I mean, Barrister and Dr. Mr. Gode Fosa, I mean, you heard that. Booking of the hands. If they are where it's supposed to be. Let's start from Mr. Gode. Mr. Gode, are you there?
I am here.
I mean, you heard that. That's Adams Oshomole, who was also a member of the committee, saying that these hams, were they booked? Those officers who probably accompanies the governors, convoys and all of this, how are these hams getting missed? How are they getting missing? I mean, all of these questions, that's what Adams Oshomole is saying there. Quickly, okay, let's also listen to the AIG, the Assistant Inspector General of Police. I mean, AIG, yes. Ali. Let's also listen and also hear his take.
Some commands and formation did not report loss of firearms and ammunition. Consequently, signals were sent to the affected formation to produce comprehensive investigation report on the loss of the said ammunition and on the firearms and ammunition. as well as complete Treasury Form 146 for audit attachment in pages 219 to 224.
All right, and that's AIGAS Ali. Yes, Mr. Gotti. I mean, he said some formations don't report all of this. What's your take? I mean, you heard from the senator there, Senator Yekachi Nwebunyi. You've also heard from Adams Shomole. You've heard from the AIG. All of this, you heard from the rep, Samuel Godwin, the representative of Auditor General of the Federation. Now let's put it together. What's your take? Your comment?
Everyone who spoke seems to be at the loose end of what is happening. They are not speaking like those who are on top of the matter. The very essence of government in the first place is to provide security and welfare for its citizens. And when the people who are supposed to be on top of these two functions are now speaking like they don't understand what is happening, then they leave the ordinary citizens at their own mercy. I feel in the first place it is an anomaly for us to hear that in a certain period of time about 3,000 firearms are missing. Now, missing is a very vague word. Was it looted? Were those firearms, were the officers bearing them, were they killed and taken away by the criminals? What happened at some point? Is it a situation where it was missing one after the other, or it was an invasion of a weaponry where that amount of this thing was taken away? And I think we need to get to know. And that's why I said in my first remark on this matter, I said everybody should try as much as possible to be transparent. There must be a certain level of transparency where we understand, because at the end of the day, when things like this happen, what is the most important thing is to find a way to prevent it from happening tomorrow. All right? Because we can't obviously
let me
go and recover those. We can't obviously go and recover all those over 3,000 firearms in the hands of the non-state actors.
Yes,
but
I agree.
How do we stop it from happening? I think that's why everyone must come clean, from the Senate to the police to the presidency, because at the end of the day,
in addressing
the buck stops at Mr. President's office.
Yes, in addressing this,
Barrister
Mr. Gotti,
said by now, it should be rolling, or it should have rolled.
Apart from even that, Barrister said that the IG should have probably resigned. I'm putting it to you. Do you think it has gotten to where the IG should be thinking of probably stepping down?
See, these are the things I will talk about. I keep saying this in every show that I appear. When I was in the village, when I used to buy newspaper, when my dad used to buy newspaper those days in the village as a young boy, there is a particular page in the paper that I used to read called Hot News. Hot News were things that originally shouldn't have happened, and basically those things usually come from Russia, Norway, and you read them and you how can this happen? But these things are the things that are happening now in Nigeria. There's no longer hot news, because those things that we used to call hot news have become reality, everyday reality. In some times, an IG there cannot be a resolution that about over 3,000 firearms are missing, and the head of police is sitting down tight. He's taking tea, he's drinking tea, he's having meetings. By now, he should be having press conferences explaining himself what happened. How come that report has to come from the Auditor General office that the police did not make that resolution, did not make that report out on time? How come is the Senate that is singing that as Kennedy right now over that matter? So you see, for such a thing, for such amount of firearms outside
like the barrister said, is enough to cause, it has become a national security issue. All right? Even the NSA should be holding press conferences talking about it. People should pay, people should be responsible, people should be held accountable.
All right.
People should be held responsible
all right.
for this kind of lapses, because I call it lapses. So what happened? So when you say, is it enough? What is not enough?
All right.
Let's that cannot be accounted for is enough for someone to lose his job.
All right, let's turn to attention now to the phone lines. Lagosians, yes, be part of this conversation quickly. 0705-890-4927. 0705-890-4927. Or call us on 0805-0805-092-0927. 0805-092-0927. Yes, or you can also send your message on WhatsApp 0705-690-0927. 0705-690-0927. Lagos, let's talk. I mean, all of these conversations, it's getting worrisome for Nigerians in all of this. All right, Barrister, are you there? Hello, Barrister. Barrister, do we still have you there? Okay, I guess we lost the connection right there with Barrister. Mr. Goddy, quickly, because of our time and all. Sometimes, I mean, Lagosians seems to, or let me say Nigerians, seems to just sit and act like, well, it's nothing. Okay, let's look at this call. Hello, good morning. Good morning, what's your name?
Chooks from Lagos, calling for Lagos.
All right, Chooks from Lagos. Please make your comment.
See, what we are discussing here is firearmed, very dangerous weapon. We are not talking about maybe palliative. And this arms was not transporting. They were not transporting it from point A to B before it got stolen. It was locked up. Someone had the key to that lock up store. And there were securities there that day securing the said weapon. And we are talking about this thing. The people that went away with those weapons, I think they come in with a right, because it's not something that you can pack with your arms, isn't it? So why are they not acting why are they not holding the people there on duty responsible to talk? So as in, if you were to be an ordinary criminal, I know how they used to torture people. And now we are talking about weapons, dangerous weapons, and they are discussing it like this.
All right, thank you very much for that comment. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. This is Geoffrey from Ogun State.
All right, this is what?
Geoffrey from Ogun State.
All right, Geoffrey from Ogun State. Please, quickly, 1 minute.
Please, there is some things that people, when they say it in this Nigeria, it sounds somehow. We are not talking about, let's say, team. We are talking about weapon in this. We are discussing this. This is something that is easy to trace. This Nigeria we are talking about, this police department we are talking about. So all these things should not be something that we can be talking and be just going the way it's going like this. They should put more effort to get this. This is a very serious issue for us to be discussed as if it's nothing is happening, all that.
All right.
Just discuss and take serious about this.
All right, thank you very much for your comment today. Okay, quickly because of our time. Barrister, are you there?
Yes.
All right, Barrister, in just a few seconds, please, can you round up your thoughts? Your advice to the government. I mean, in few seconds, please, your advice to the government.
Well, as you said almost my good brother, and the government should hold and be experienced in the investigation of the loss of these arms, and also addressing the issue of insecurity.
All right, thank you very much for that. Okay, Mr. Goddy, are you there?
I am here.
Okay, quickly, your advice to the government, quickly because of our time.
I feel what I want to suggest is that I think, especially on the firearm issue, we must not treat it as other issues. It has become a national security issue.
All right, it has become a national security issue. All right, thank you very much for your time, Mr. Gordy Foser, editor-in-chief of the industry newspaper. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Gordy.
Thank you.
All right, Barrister, are you there?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. It's nice to be on the program again.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, this is where we wrap up Spotlight on Super